This video is brought to you by Straight Goods News, Canada's alternative online news source. Visit straightgoods.ca.
Advisory panel put together on hunting and licensing to help advise the government, and of the whole group there are two American companies or firms or groups. What do you think of that? That the government is going to be relying on Americans?
Yeah, for a government so concerned with American influence to have the Safari Club International, or whatever they're called by big game hunters out of the U.S. coming up and advising the Canadian government on hunting laws, but yet not invite Aboriginal groups or local rod and gun clubs to the table seems very strange to me. I don't understand this at all. I mean, Mr. Harper can meet with whoever he wants to, but Canadian policy should be directed by Canadians, particularly according to a government who's just spent so much time attacking charities, Canadian charities, if they so happen to ever have spoken to somebody from abroad.
And why is it a concern? What worries you the most about having Americans sitting there having some influence?
Well, I have no problem with Americans being involved in the discourse in Canada. We're involved in their discourse all the time. It's why we have an embassy, and so do they. We have many relationships across the border. The problem is the hypocrisy of this government, particularly on something so sensitive as hunting rights in Canada. Going to an American group, a safari group based in the U.S. for advice on what should happen in Canada seems a bit rich, coming from a government who's spent so many times dragging the good names of Canadian charities through the mud. So, I mean, the hypocrisy just won't last. It's a very strange story, to be honest with you.
And on the issue of radicals, when you heard the last time when the government was referring to some groups being radicals that are involved, does the hypocrisy sort of extend in that way?
Well, I don't know this group, and I'm not about to call them a radical, but the absolute spineless attack that this government has taken on Canadian charities, it's spineless because they won't come out here and make those same accusations. They use their parliamentary protection and attack good Canadian charities instead, and that's just showing no courage and no conviction. So no, I'm not gonna call these folks bad names. I don't know who they are, but it is an interesting irony that a prime minister is going to meet with a safari club based in the U.S. about Canadian hunting laws, meanwhile calling everyone else who happens to disagree with this government a radical.
On Tom Sidden, what do you make of this split between the former Fisheries Minister and the current one?
Well, he's obviously had a change of heart about the need to protect the environment. I think it's passing strange, though, that New Democrats have to stand in the House of Commons and defend the Mulroney-era environment record against these new Conservatives who care not a whit for the environment. So trust me, there's a strange moment for us.
What does it tell you about this group of Conservatives?
This group of Conservatives, there's a reason they took the name Progressive out, because whatever progressive elements used to exist within the Conservative Party of Canada are completely destroyed. And you see someone like Lee Richardson leave the Hill yesterday, and part of my conversation with him was exactly that. That I remember the old Tories, as we said, they were, we didn't agree with them on much, but there were a few things that we found a way to have a conversation about. And with these guys, the current new breed of Conservatives, you can't talk about much at all. Certainly when it comes to air, water, and land protection.